A lot of Republicans, though, aren't crazy about that because they basically see it as a punishment for living in high-tax areas. And they're open about saying that. If you represent South Dakota or Montana or even a state without a state income tax like Texas or Florida, you're like, why should other people be able to deduct their state and local taxes?
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with magazine editor David Mark. And David, the SALT deductions are becoming a sticking point in the one big beautiful bill that Republicans are trying to get over the finish line. What is SALT, and why is it becoming one of these major hurdles?
Right. This is a relatively small group of House Republicans. I call them the pillars of SALT. You might take it as a biblical reference. It has to do with the tax deduction one can take on their federal taxes for state and local taxes. So it really helps those who have higher incomes and live in higher income areas, generally in California, around Los Angeles, San Francisco, Silicon Valley, Hollywood, maybe New Jersey, New York, Wall Street types, maybe other places. And they really get to deduct a lot on their taxes from federal. This was limited in the last tax cut bill, 2017. It was cut down to $10,000. It used to be unlimited. So some Republican lawmakers who represent those areas want to raise it up. They haven't said precisely how much. What they really like is to be unlimited. A lot of Republicans, though, aren't crazy about that because they basically see it as a punishment for living in high-tax areas. And they're open about saying that. If you represent South Dakota or Montana or even a state without a state income tax like Texas or Florida, you're like, why should other people be able to deduct their state and local taxes? It doesn't make any sense. So it's a big intra-Republican battle right now.
Is it good politics for Republicans to be pushing something when, the overall thrust of what the Trump agenda is, what the Republican agenda is right now is supposed to be catering to the working class, but it sounds like this won't benefit the working class at all, right?
Well, it's good politics for those small number of House Republican lawmakers. And if they want to exercise it, they have a lot of leverage. The House Republicans only have 220 seats to 213 for Democrats. A couple more will get filled by Democrats in the coming months. So Republicans can only lose 2 or 3 votes, depending how you count it on anything. If just a couple walk away, there's no bill at all. So depending how they want to push it and defy President Trump, which is the big issue here, they could have a lot of leverage. They could force a total rewrite of the bill.
There were some headlines this week that some vulnerable Republicans, also behind closed doors, were objecting to defunding Planned Parenthood with this bill. Now that seems like a pretty wild thing for a Republican to oppose. Why do you think that would be happening?
I think it's actually similar circumstances. Politicians, like anybody, acts under incentives. They want to get reelected, and a lot of their constituencies are much more centrist on abortion, on all kinds of other social issues, medical care issues, than much of the Republican conference. So if they go out and say, yeah, we're going to defund Planned Parenthood, even though this is usually a Democratic issue, they're usually fighting against it, they could face some trouble back home. It'll be interesting to see how far they push this one. We haven't heard as much about this. I think they would get a lot of really negative headlines and draw potentially primary challenges as well.
Well, David, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
You can get more reporting from David and the rest of the political team at washingtonexaminer.com.